Hey guys, and welcome to Phee Network's Phee Sportsball with Sir Isaac the Guru. What are you doing, Sir Isaac?
Living the dream.
Living the dream. Sir Isaac crushed them this week. I'm talking he just collected tickets all weekend long.
I did kill
Woo-wee. Tell him the truth, Isaac. Just tell him the truth. How does it feel to be 6-2 one day and 7-2 the next?
It was great, and to be honest, I didn't want to cheat and claim that I did better than that, but I ended up even doing better than that because there's a lot of games we didn't talk about, and I hit like 3 different money line parlays, so it ended up being even better than the record shows on here, but I can't prove it. So
he can prove it by the tickets that he cashed. I can tell you this. Those are the weekends that keep you coming back for more, isn't it, Sir Isaac?
Oh, it was great. I literally was there with my buddies. I went to Central Arkansas to hang out with my friends, and they were all like out loud talking about their bets that they liked and just kept getting mad. I just sat over there being quiet, and I was just rooting for them and didn't say anything. And then towards the end of the night, it was USC covered because the 2 key things that changed is I said I wanted the Georgia line to go down. It went down to 7. I bet it there. I think they still would have covered. I think it was 7.5. I think they won by 8. I don't remember. But then USC went up to 10.5. And I bet it at 10.5, and I was sitting there watching that game, thought they were going to blow it, and finally I started talking out loud, saying, I need USC to do this, and they were sitting over here being all mad because they kept losing, and I kept telling them after the fact, I was like, well, I hit this one. They were like, you weren't even talking about it. I said, no, I was sitting over here being quiet while y'all were getting mad over here.
Winners just keep quiet and collect tickets. I mean, I really thought that I lost 2 games by half points. The Ole Miss plus 6.5, they lost by 7. And then USC plus 9.5, they lost by 10. But then you tell me the line went to 7 and they went to 10.5. So I push one and I win the other. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy with that. Of course, I had the Lions, big money lines. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we always have the Cowboys and over. Mm-hmm. But the key moment of last week's Sir Isaac the Guru's comments got over 800 views when he actually told people he didn't want Arkansas to win the game. He wanted them to lose by 3, and they lost by 3. That's what you call on the money.
There was a couple goofy things last week, and I'm not taking credit for them because I just run my mouth about stuff, but there was a couple of goofy things that happened like almost exactly like I said. Oh goodness, something about there was one of the scores in the NFL that I said like this is what's going to happen. It worked out that way. I wish I'll have to, as the show goes on, I'll try to remember. There was one that I noticed when I watched it back that was just like I said some random stuff that just happened to happen exactly, and it made me laugh. But yeah, the Arkansas one, that was funny. I didn't even need to see that it got that many views, but yeah, there was some goofy stuff. It was a lucky weekend.
Well, it's not lucky for Sir Isaac the Guru. It would be lucky for anybody else to listen to the Phee Networks and hear the handicapper extraordinaire.
All those wins, though, and all you would think it was so happy and everything, and then Arizona lost to Houston, and it ruined everything.
Oh, you started playing more?
No, I jokingly said that was my pick of the week. Oh. And the Houston Cougars beat Arizona.
Of course, I wasn't going to bring up that Houston has a football team. I've already seen, I'm aware of Sir Isaac's picks tonight, so I wasn't going to say anything until we brought that up. On the Phee Network tonight, we have Night with Phee coming up live at 9 p.m. Tomorrow we'll have the Phee Show with Manly Mark. And then again, Night with Phee tomorrow night. But check out those podcasts and those shows. Hit the like, subscribe, give us Sir Isaac the Guru some love, and let's get started. On the Phee Network, we cover all aspects of life, relationships and love, skills, business deals, and sports drills. Today is not a good day in the NBA.
No.
You've got a lot of, throughout the history of time, you have had betting scandals. And this might go down as a top 5 betting scandal based on just the initial outcry of what's going on with the New York crime families being involved, several prominent folks that aren't being named, and also the ones that include a setting head coach in the NBA, and a couple of players that used to play real well there have been accused of doing some roughhouse things. Tonight we're going to bring you some news on that, and then we'll have Sir Isaac comment. Our first clip you'll be listening to is with the FBI, and we will start that now. Isaac, turn off your mic.
To announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure.
What do you think, Sir Isaac? Good day or bad day for the dadgum NBA?
Bad day. Although the one thing, when I first heard the headlines and everything, it sounded like they were looping in the crime families and the game on the prop bet side of things. But then the more I listened to, which that clip that you played, I listened to the whole press conference, and I guess though at least there's a couple. I think there's 3 defendants that are consistent in both, but the current players, and the prop bets thing is separate from the crime family thing, which doesn't matter. Still bad, but that was a important distinction that I had to make, because at the beginning I was like, how the heck are they involved in this too? But, it's so crazy. It makes me so frustrated that people are just so greedy. Like, you make it to be one of the whatever percent of athletes in the world, you're making millions of dollars to play a sport, and then you're going to jeopardize that because you're trying to make extra money and then make money for like your friends. It's just so stupid.
Pure stupidity. But when you've got a Chauncey Billups is he's a Hall of Famer,
and he's one of the ones who was mentioned. Him and then Damon Jones are in both. They're in the poker games and the player props, because I know in the player prop side they were passing along information to let people know like when players were available and weren't available, and then someone who would be trying to defend them would say, well, maybe there's a chance they just have loose lips, maybe they told someone and then that person took that information. But it's really hard to claim that when you're also mentioned in this other cheating scandal.
When you've got X-rays machines and cameras in shuffling cards in poker tournaments, folks, those folks are high-stake poker tournaments right there.
Yeah.
We've got another clip here that I think is interesting to piggyback on that, Sir Isaac. So take a look here and turn your mic off again.
Individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, this whole deal is just a crazy scenario, and it's literally like they're gonna make a movie about it. And I mean, they've been making movies about it. It just hasn't been a real thing, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's the type of stuff that's like
They're gonna make the movies.
It's crazy, and the fact that it's like on that big of scale, and then they even were talking about it may be in a video we're gonna play, but they bring up that there was like armed robberies to acquire the rigged machines, like all the just crazy stuff.
And this is just getting started.
Oh yeah, the number of people that are already going after, you know, they're going to find more. You know, people are going to flip on people. I mean, it's going to turn into even more. But on the NBA side of things, the good news for the league, the only bad thing for the league is that they conducted their own investigation with Terry Rozier, and they let him play, and they didn't do anything. There's been other people that they conducted an investigation that are involved in this, and they banned them. But the Terry Rozier one, as long as they are going to be able to say that whatever they found, like they didn't have access to this information that the FBI had or whatever, but that's the big question that's going to be, as far as the league's integrity, that's going to be on them. Other than that, the good news for the NBA is that I feel like there's not going to be as much, you know, flat come raining down on them as the league, as other than that one thing with the letting Terry Rozier play. But it's more so just going to be the fact that you've got these big name athletes and coaches that are getting busted. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know what the league could have done or how they would have known about like the Chauncey Billups thing or whatever. I don't know.
Well, the key is integrity. People aren't going to watch sports or games if they think they're rigged.
Oh, I know.
So the number one thing with that is the integrity of the sport and the integrity of the games, and they will hang anybody and everybody they have out to dry. I promise you.
I was about to
get
say.
back to that integrity of the game, because people will not watch a game and certainly won't bet on a game. You know, there's always whispers all the way going back from the 1918 Black Sox all the way through Pete Rose, which isn't in the Hall of Fame today, is one of the best players in the history of baseball because of gambling. Here, we like to handicap on Phee, Sportsball with Sir Isaac the Guru, but I can assure you this. If Sir Isaac or Phee were playing professional sports, we might not even play blackjack, much less have anything to do with sports gambling.
It's mind-blowing. I just don't understand. Even, there's just some things in life when you're in certain positions that you just know isn't an option. It's not even a matter of like, oh, it's a temptation. No, you're in certain spots and just things aren't an option. That's one of those things that, like, if you have the ability to be making millions of dollars to play a sport, you just can't. You can't
risk it, can you?
No, you just can't.
You got less than 1% of the people good enough to do it. You finally get there. You're making millions of dollars. I just don't think there's not enough money.
And how many people think about this, and there's a lot of them that probably won't get caught, but how many people in the league, well, in any professional league right now, have been doing this on a small scale, maybe just themselves, you know, sneaking bets in through somebody. I'm not talking about like an entire rigging games, but even just the people who may be doing it for pleasure.
Yes.
Imagine all them that are crapping their pants right now watching this all go down, and they're like, uh-oh.
Don't, folks, in today's society, I don't know if you ever tune into any of my podcasts, but don't do anything that you think people aren't watching, because they're watching you. Surveillance is everywhere. You can't go to any place. You can't drive on any road. They've got your facial recognition. They've got your fingerprints. They got your DNA. If you've ever had a blood test, they know your blood type. They've got masks. They can place you anywhere they want to place you. You do not need to be trying to get away with something if your contract is worth 4 years at $30 million. I don't understand why they would play any amount of money to risk that.
It's mind blowing. I mean, the Jonte Porter thing. He's the one who's now banned.
Michael Porter's brother.
Yeah, and all he was going to do is ride a bench, and I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. He was going to ride a bench in the league for
Sure
10 years probably, and
you know what the minimum contract is?
I was going to say, go ahead and do the math on riding the bench for that long and the amount that he could have made if he kept game. I mean, it's not even close. It's a tiny fraction compared to what they're making on their contract. It's just so embarrassing. I don't
Well, we're not
understand
trying to bring the vibe down here, but we do need to talk about stuff that has to do with sports gambling.
Yeah.
We talked about last week. It is an epidemic among young men that are losing an average of $3,000 a year with their bank accounts. Now you've got allegedly, again, all these accusations with these people that include some pretty big name people and some even bigger names that they're alluding to but not naming.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go to another clip here and see what you think about this, Sir Isaac, before we move on with this week's football.
In some instances, players altered their performance or took themselves out of games to make sure that those bets paid out. One example occurred on March 23rd, 2023 in Charlotte. Terry Rozier, an NBA player now with the Miami Heat, but at the time playing for the Hornets, allegedly let others close to him know that he planned to leave the game early with a supposed injury. Using that information, members of the group placed more than $200,000 in wagers on his under statistics. Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out, generating tens of thousands of dollars in profit. The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash. As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched, not for injury, but for integrity.
Well, I can remember him playing many, many times with that Heat uniform on. Always a good athlete.
He was super talented. Obviously, there's different levels of like the players that are involved as far as talent wise or success wise, but he's one that he was a relevant NBA player. So yeah, it's just crazy, man. It was crazy to hear about any of it, and then the poker stuff, even though it's bad and serious, that stuff is more
understandable.
Like that, and it's more like almost entertaining in a weird way than the sports betting, because like me and you were never going to be in a high stakes poker game against Chauncey Billups in an underground, like, New York.
Speak
building.
for yourself.
Well, maybe you might, but
I might not now, but I might have. The problem is they were luring other people in for a rigged poker game.
Yeah, and they were doing it because of like apparently they were luring them in to say, hey, you can play a poker game against Chauncey Billups and whatever, and everyone, even they said the other players and the dealers, everyone was in on it other than the couple they referred to them as fish.
I guess that means if you get to the table and you can't find the mark, you're the mark.
Yeah, I guess that's what now you're going to have a bunch of people asking questions about other games that have gone on thinking that they got robbed. It's so crazy. It's literally going to be a movie. So
Absolutely, and I guarantee you they've already got the guy that they think is going to write it, because he writes all the mob movies, and he did write Raging Bull too. So
either Robert De Niro,
he's getting old now, brother,
or Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
One of the two of them will be.
Will be a Gambino or a crime family. They got them all up there. Who knows what'll happen from it? Of course, these are all alleged accusations and don't amount to a hill of beans to Phee and Sir Isaac. But we do need to talk about the integrity of the game, because as handicappers, you want to make sure that you actually are getting at least a fair shot to win.
Yeah, and it makes me feel a little better, and this is just me personally, that at least the alleged events weren't things that I would have been like betting on, but there's millions of people out there that were. It's just fortunately for me, like if they came out tomorrow and they said, hey, the NFL's been doing this on spread bets, I'd be like, okay, but NBA player props, it's just like, at least for me personally, makes it a little easier. But no, it's a bad deal, because we don't even want to know the numbers that run through all those online gambling websites for all those games. You're talking about
The law of large numbers tells you it's millions. They're just raking the cream off the top with their percentage. Last video clip today, folks, before we start having a fun, good time here on Fee's Sports Ball with Sir Isaac the Guru, is right here, right now. Listen up.
And the meter's still running, Richard. Still going. Oh, Rozier turned it over again. Having a tough night. And Rozier off the DHO. And he turned it over. Turn it up. But you don't want to play with your team, especially against the Miami Heat. I can tell you, hey, you don't like playing in Miami? Yeah. I better do it. Clock down to 3. They got to get busy. Rozier with a 9-1-1 comes up short. On Merrill. Rozier, a contested 3 is short. The ultimate teammates and sacrifice so much. Rozier on the show and go. That all year. Empty corner 2-man game. Rozier with a 3. Anderson with a rebound. Rozier relocates for another try. Boy, that was awfully.
Well, he must have had an awful bad night.
I don't know anyone who watches this. If you're not familiar with the NBA, you may not know anything about Terry Rozier. The man's not going to be a Hall of Famer, well, especially not now. But he's not that bad at basketball. I can promise you that. I've watched him play a lot of times, and he ain't.
He's shooting 4 air balls in a quarter.
He's not that bad.
And he didn't have a lot. He didn't have a lot of velocity on his passes, did he?
Well, the worst one when we were watching that, the worst one's that one at the top of the key where he's literally facing the guy on the wing. He sold the turning around one
better.
Okay, but that one where he's directly facing him and he just throws it at the. I mean, that's bad.
Pretty rough.
There was a compilation. The Jonte Porter one from a couple of years ago was a hilarious one too, because it was just like, I forget all the details of them, but there was a couple just brutally obvious like clips of him trying to make something happen. But no, that's bad. That's a bad look.
Well, we want to talk about the integrity of sports and integrity of the game. And since sports betting has been legalized from state to state, they have kiosks in arenas in NBA and NFL stadiums that they're going to have to look at this real hard. They're going to learn a big lesson. All throughout history, you've had these scandals, and I think they're going to continue to have them. But in today's society, everything is tracked. They got them. When they got the date and the game and then show that evidence, you could only say he had a bad game for so long.
Well, in the FBI and the league were behind, because I know in all of those instances that whatever software, I don't even know when I talk about this stuff, but whatever
algorithms,
that the sports books have, they flagged it like.
Well, $269,000 for a prop bet under.
Exactly, but they flag all of those things like in the same day. So at least there's things in place on their end. I guess the problem that you have to find is how it's handled, how quickly it's handled, and how it's handled once the sports books report it, because like they were saying that they caught it instantly.
Folks, I'm going to tell you something. For all you criminals that are listening to the Feast Me Network tonight, there are a lot other people I would rather you rob than the casinos and books. They actually know what they're doing. Their business is money, and I promise you, they don't end to lose any when it's not a fair game. If anything, they have all the eyes on their side. Yeah, they don't like losing.
And I'm not going to throw out my own accusations about the purity of the casino industry, but I'm not just so sure that I'd want to cross that business, because now they don't care about my $10 bet.
No.
But they're not a group of people that is known for finishing last.
No, they're not.
In any situation.
No, and I don't think that they want to fine you $100 either. I think they tend to like to break your elbows.
You wind up in the hospital because you had a car wreck or like a motorcycle accident.
Yeah, common. And those drive-by shootings and those in-house burglaries, they just tend to happen,
it's crazy.
I guess it's karma. Who knows? Folks, we've got two special guests tonight at 7 o'clock to 7:15 for our segment. My oldest boy's the Mr. President himself, all the way from Delaware. P. Andrew Smith, And we also have his younger brother, Sir William Smee, the one and only, the cat daddy of them all, will join us tonight at 7 o'clock to 7:15. Sir Isaac went 7-2 one day, 6-2 the next day, 3-0 on a money line parlay, and then picked up a couple of wins that he didn't even tell us about. He's holding out on us, folks. What shall we do to him next week if he doesn't give us all his picks this week?
Well, the problem is, it's not a problem, but doing it on Thursday, I'm bad about. Well, sometimes it helps me, but I'm bad about waiting until Saturday morning or Friday night to actually place any bets. So by the time I actually start looking, I come up with more stuff other than what I put. Yeah, we couldn't talk about everything I think about on here, else we'd talk for 6 hours.
Well, folks like to hear Sir Isaac the Guru talk because normally if you just follow him, you collect. And everybody wants to collect. But they don't want to collect by cheating either, because they can get caught.
Yeah, we don't cheat.
We don't cheat because we could get caught.
Look at my track record. Hey, Vegas, pull up my track record for everyone. I promise I don't cheat.
Don't pull up mine.
I'm the worst cheater of them all.
Hey, don't pull up mine. That's all.
Also, shout out to Sydney for the support. I appreciate it.
Sydney's a hero, isn't she?
She really is. Yeah, she's a hero, and she's up here supporting.
Hero, don't be a hero. I think she just loves everything about you.
She's not very smart if she does, but I have a
That's
couple.
That's her advantage.
I have a couple redeeming qualities, I guess.
You have more than one, I can assure you. Your eyes, there's two of them, and they're good looking. So the boy is a fine young man with a beautiful lady. His life is on top of the world, and he's picking 6-2, 7-2. I don't know if you can do the math, but that's 13-4. That is a strong week, Sir Isaac.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep it rolling this week, I hope. But
let's roll them right now. We'll have our two guests coming on. They'll call the show. We'll hit them in and just plug them in, let them listen. I'll try to direct them as well as I can, get them all their takes because, after all, young people change the world. Old people control it. So let's let the young people change the world tonight on the Phee Network's Phee Sportsball with Sir Isaac, the Guru. Go up, Guru. I told you last week that Miami was going to roll. Miami loses. My boy quarterback that I told you was going to win the Heisman Trophy. Threw 4 interceptions. You can throw 2. You once a career throw 3, but if you throw 4 and still almost win, man, that just makes you look bad, Goo.
Yeah, that was, and also they kind of snuck. That was such a weird game. Was it on Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird, half the world didn't even know Miami lost.
I know.
It just happened out of nowhere.
There he is. Hello, Mr. President. You're on the air at the Phee Sportsball with Sir Isaac, the Guru.
Hey, Daddy. Hey, Guru. Thanks for having me on again. It's a blessing.
Well, Sir Isaac, we had such a good week last night that he wanted to have you on. He went 13-4 in his picks. Unbelievable. As he wanted Arkansas to cover but lose, he told them they lose by 3, and that's what they did. So now we've had over 800 views on Sir Isaac the Guru's picks, and we just wanted to get yours and Sir William Smee, the one and only's picks here as we move through the show. We're still waiting on Will to come in, but what did you think of Miami's loss last week with Carson Beck throwing 4 interceptions?
There's Will.
I thought it was pretty embarrassing. I think that Miami has a history, at least in recent time, of building up a big game record and then losing when they really can't afford to, at least in the eyes of the playoff committee. And they're lucky that the playoff expansion has given them a lot of room here, and they'll still likely be in playoff contention, but it was still an embarrassing loss.
Absolutely, and if they only lose 1, I think they'll get in. But, boy, they sure can't afford another one. Sir Isaac said that they played on Friday night, so half the college football world didn't even know they lost.
If that's what the Guru says, I believe it.
Well, we also have Sir William Smee, the one and only, the cat daddy of them all, joining us now. Sir William, how are you doing tonight, and do you have any comments on Miami's loss last Friday night?
I'm doing well, and I have no comments. I'm sorry. I was just disappointed in the U. The U is not back.
The U is not back. Well, Sir Isaac Guru shocked the world last week by telling people he wanted Arkansas to lose but cover, that you wanted them to lose by 3, and they did that exactly by 3. Our network blew up as Sir Isaac pulling against his hogs, but still collecting money. What do you think, Sir William?
Well, I'm a little disappointed in Isaac because he did tell me that he would never bet against the
And
Hogs.
hey, I didn't.
Okay, it was just
just
your pick.
Yeah, it was. We were talking about it, and he brought it up, and I said, you know what? I said I really don't want us to win this game because I prefer to not hire Bobby Petrino, but it'd be cool if we lost by 3, and it happened. But I followed my rule. I don't bet against Arkansas.
Okay, I was gonna hang up immediately, but that just saved the phone call, so I'm glad to hear that.
Well, how do you go from Ole Miss winning by 9 to losing to Georgia by 7 in one quarter? 17-point turnaround as the Shambles boy goes 1 for 10 in the fourth quarter, and the Georgia quarterback goes 12 for 12 in the fourth quarter for the turnaround. Mr. President, what are your thoughts on that game?
Well, I think that Ole Miss's coach, which is a favorite of the Gurus, blew it here. I feel like both of those teams still have a shot at making the playoff, but Ole Miss disappointed in the loss to Georgia.
They certainly disappointed me with a 9-point victory, but they still covered for Sir Isaac. That's all that matters. Sir William Smee, what did you think about Vanderbilt beating LSU in Nashville?
All I can think about is Vanderbilt potentially making a college football playoff before Arkansas, and it kind of makes me sick to my stomach. I was looking at the matchup with Missouri today, and I was thinking if Vanderbilt is a top 10 team and beats Missouri, they're going to probably shoot up the rankings even more. And I'll have to look and see what the rest of their schedule looks like, but I just think it would be just another layer on the heartbreak that the Hogs are feeling right now if Vanderbilt were to make a college football playoff before us.
Doesn't it feel like – it feels to me like one of those sneaky games where you're going to be distracted because Vandy just got a big win. Mizzou kind of won a little bit ugly. It feels like the game that Mizzou goes and wins because it's just not supposed to happen, and they'll go get a big win on their record, and then people will be talking about Mizzou as well. That's what it feels like to me. And I like Vandy this year, but it just like, I don't know, something about it feels like the game that Mizzou's going to sneak in and win.
Say it out loud, everybody. LSU got beat by Vandy. Now it will be an upset if Missouri gets beat by or wins at Vandy.
I know.
I mean, how in the world is Vanderbilt a favorite over LSU and Missouri back to back?
It's weird.
Well, let's move on to this week. We're going to move on to this week's games. Sir Isaac Guru really likes a couple of games, son. What do you think about Arkansas as a 2.5-point favorite against Auburn at home? Sir William Smee, the one and only, the cat daddy of them all.
This is a tough one to pick. I did see that Cam Ball wasn't going to play, which is it's scary because defensive line's already probably the worst group on our team. So that doesn't help at all. But I have to believe that at some point Arkansas is going to win a game, and why not against Auburn? So I'm picking the Hogs and taking the points as well.
All right, he's Sir William Smee is taking Arkansas minus the 2.5 against the Auburn Tigers. I can tell you this, that Arkansas's offensive line ranks in the top 3 in the country. Auburn's defensive line is number 1 in the country. I don't know what happens there. The over-under is awfully high for me. I don't know if Auburn can score a lot of points. I'm a little nervy about the game. All the way from Delaware, Mr. President, what do you think about Arkansas minus 2.5 at home against Auburn?
I'm taking the Hogs here. I'm a homer for the Hogs, but I have to believe eventually they will break through. Now, here's a prediction for you. If you've watched any of Arkansas season, you know they've lost not one but 2 games driving at the end of the fourth quarter with a late game fumble in the red zone. This game, Arkansas is leading. Auburn's driving late in the fourth quarter. What happens? A in the red zone. Hogs win.
And then the refs say that he actually threw the ball forward instead of backwards, and they don't count the fumble.
I like that prediction. I like it a lot. It happened a lot to Arkansas. Now it's time to get the karma back on the Hog side. I hope Mr. President is correct. And we will ask Sir Isaac the Guru. Guru, are you going to play the Hogs to lose this week too? Are you going to play Auburn plus the 2.5? Come on, tell the truth.
I'm going to tell the truth, and the truth is that it's a shame for my bank account that I can't bet against Arkansas because I believe I would be
all over the Tigers.
I think so, but you know what? We've lost a couple. It's okay if we throw a win in there. I don't think we're going to hire Petrino because we beat Auburn. I think we go ahead and just get a win, make everyone feel better, and then we go back to my initial plan, which is keep covering and losing every week.
Well, the young coaches, Rhett Lashley and the Alex Mortensen, the interim coach at App State, as well as one of our other boys that was up there, Dow Loggins, that was the offensive coordinator at Carolina, coached on the Alabama staff, and then also with the Bears. So all three of those young men are being talked about, but 75% of the old folks at the Razorback Foundation, if Bobby Petrino beats Texas, they say he will be hired as the head coach at the University of Arkansas. So that's what they're saying behind the closed doors up on the Hill. We will move on to what I think is a phenomenal game this week with the Ole Miss Rebels plus 5.5 at OU. What do you think about that, Mr. President?
Well, since I thought they lost last week, I think that they will have a bounce-back victory this week, or we can make it 2 in a row, okay? I'm taking Ole Miss here. I think that Oklahoma, as good as they look, is falling off from injury, but I'll say injury considerations as well as their offensive scheme kind of catching up with them.
Well, I like the Ole Miss plus 5.5 too, but you're not going to make your sister too happy as OU. The Paperclips are her favorite team. So we'll go right over to Sir William Smee, the one and only, and see if his sister's going to be mad at him too. What do you think, Sir William?
Well, first I just have to make one more comment about the Arkansas game. Listening to Drew describe what happened against Ole Miss and Memphis, I thought he was going to say that we were going to be driving the ball again and actually score the touchdown to win, but Bobby Petrino was going to be clapping, and they were going to count that as a timeout. And so I was just glad that wasn't his interpretation of what was going to happen. Back to the Ole Miss and Oklahoma game. I have a lot going on in this game emotionally. I have friends that love Oklahoma, and I want to root against them for that reason. Then I have a sister who all of a sudden loves Oklahoma, and I want her to be happy. And all the while, Ole Miss is one of the most annoying teams in the world with Lane Kiffin. So I'm going to emotionally hedge my bets and pick Oklahoma to win the game, or take the points with Oklahoma, and just hope that I feel as good as possible when the game is over.
Wow. Sir William goes the opposite way of his brother and picks OU minus the 5.5 in Norman. Sir Isaac the Guru, your remarks.
Well, there's two things in this world that I really, 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 really dislike. One of them is any person wearing an OU uniform, and the other is my favorite coach, as Drew said, Lane Kiffin. So it does pain me to pick either of these teams to win this game because I'd rather the field just fall apart and an earthquake happen and they don't ever finish it. But I think Ole Miss wins. I'm going to take Ole Miss money line. I'm going to bet them to cover 5.5, but I think Ole Miss goes and beats them and bounces back. I'm siding with the president.
You hear it right there, Sir Isaac Guru, off a 13-4 win. Loss record last weekend, on fire, sides with Mr. President and takes Ole Miss plus the 5.5. We've got one more college game. That's Texas A&M -2.5 versus LSU. What do you have, Sir William Smee?
I'm going A&M here. I just think that I just don't believe in Garrett Nussmeier personally. That's my thing against LSU. I think they're super talented across the board, but he just has not impressed me. Not that I think Reed is that great at Texas A&M either, but I think that they're going to be able to outscore LSU.
Will and me were sitting there watching Clemson and LSU at the same time, and we both were going on a rant talking about how we thought Nussmeier and Cade Klubnik were both overrated, and both of those have panned out to be pretty true.
We were ahead of the game on that one.
Yes, we were.
Well, you guys are ahead of the game on most things. I know I'm going to have to let you guys go, but I would like for you to pick your best game Saturday for your best bet, and then we'll move on to your best bet on Sundays before we let you guys go. Of the games we've mentioned, what do you feel best about, Mr. President?
Of the games we've mentioned, I feel best about the Hogs.
The Hogs -2.5 at Fayetteville against those crazy Tigers of Auburn with Mr. Freeze as their coach. Seem to have a great defensive line. I don't know how many turnovers that they will create from the Hogs, but Arkansas is going to score, folks. I promise you that. I'm looking at the over. What do you think, Sir William? What is your favorite pick of Saturday?
Well, I hate to make a boring pick here, but as we say sometimes, me and Drew, Mr. President, we do that sometimes, meaning I'm picking the Hogs too as my best bet.
Bunch of Homer SEC boys right here. Grew up in the state of Arkansas like Sir Isaac the Guru. Sticking with the Hogs -2.5. Even a blind squirrel catches a nut every once in a while. Sir Isaac, your best bet of Saturday?
I'm going back to the well here. My favorite bet of Saturday. I don't normally like any team that references anything to do with the devil. I'm a godly man, but the great football team of Houston, who I don't know that we've talked about this year at all. Houston is going to Arizona State to play. Arizona State is a -7.5 point favorite. And I'm still not quite sure why Houston has a football team. Haven't been sure the whole year. Really.
They beat him every week, folks. He's won 1 week.
I really don't know why they show up to these games. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I'm going to go ahead and take the free money. As my friends say, there's money laying on the ground, and I'm just picking it up. But I'm going with Arizona State -7.5.
Hey, I was a Blue Devil. Could have been a Sun Devil. Next thing you know, he likes the Devils -7.5 against Phi Slamma Jammas University of Houston. And they do have a football team. Moving on to the pros, before we let these great young men go, we're going to go right to the best bets of the week for the pros. As I give you these games, you've got tonight's game, Viking Chargers over 44.5, Steelers +2.5 versus the Packers, Patriots, Eagles, and Bills are playing, the Bucks -3.5 against the Saints, KC -11.5 against Washington. Of all those games that you see on the NFL slate Sunday or Monday or tonight, Mr. President, which game do you like best?
Wow, what a great slate of games. This might be a surprise given how large the line is, but I'm taking Kansas City to cover against Washington, who is really beat up right now. And Kansas City's offense has completely found its voice, has completely found its identity, and has completely found a way to embarrass inferior teams, as we saw last week with its dominating blowout against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Thanks for clarifying.
Where the Raiders are located.
Yes.
Still taking KC to cover.
Very good plays. They come off a 31-0 drumming of the Las Vegas Raiders. I still think they're in Oakland. Of course, I still think the Charger is in San Diego. But Fee's an old man. He's a crazy old man. He weebles and he wobbles, but he doesn't fall down unless he's going to the bathroom at about 3 a.m. in the morning. Sir William, Smee, you got the best bet of Sunday or Monday. Hit me up with it right now.
All right, I got y'all. I liked what Isaac said. There's free money on the ground. We're just picking it up. So if there's one thing that me and Isaac agree on in life,
I know
it's
where
our,
we're going. I know where we're going.
it's our love for Bo Nix.
Mm-mm.
And of course, I'm joking. I'm taking the Cowboys to win outright. I don't believe in the Broncos. I don't believe in Bo Nix, and I think Sean Payton's a fraud.
I like it. Also, not where I thought we were going with that, but I'm down for it.
Just
I would
play
love
the
to hear
over.
where you thought we
If
were
the
going
Cowboys
with that.
play the over.
Well, now I can't wait to say where I'm going with this because it will be in Will's favor. But if there's one thing that I have been preaching for the last few years, it's that you never, ever, ever bet against the Steelers as a home dog. You can't do it. Doesn't matter who they're playing. When they're at home and they're an underdog, I just blindly bet it. Don't care who it is, and I'm doing it this week. The Packers are a 2.5-point favorite going to Pittsburgh, and I'm rocking with Pittsburgh. Embarrassing loss in the Geriatric Bowl last week. That was tragic. I think Aaron Rodgers just got a little bit past his bedtime, just a tad bit quicker than Joe Flacco. Couldn't get it done. But this week, home dog, I'm rocking with the Steelers.
You heard it right here.
Love
Sir
that.
Isaac Guru likes the home dog, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mr. President likes the Kansas City Chiefs minus the big number. And Sir William Smee says, play the Cowboys outright. The boys are back, and the Denver Broncos are overrated. Any last comments before we let you go, Sir William Smee, the Guru?
I just hope that Isaac's right. He normally is. That's why we call him the Guru. So here we go, Steelers, and go Hogs.
Thank you for joining in this week. We hope to have you next week, and God bless you tonight.
God bless. Love y'all.
Love you. Mr. President, any last remarks before we let you go love your beautiful wife in Delaware?
Final remarks. Jets get their first win of the season this week. Go Birds. A.J. Brown's out. Quinyanamo Bay and Jalen Carter are in. It's time to take it to Jackson Dart, Will's brother-in-law. Thank you so much for having me. Love you both. Love you, Daddy.
Love you, son. Thank you so much for joining in the Phee Smee Network, Sir Isaac the Guru. Thank you, son.
Thank you.
All right, you heard it right here, right now. You got folks all across the country calling in, talking about OU, messing up their sister's dream. And then you got Sir Isaac the Guru talking trash about the Pittsburgh Steelers being a home dog.
It's true. Mike Tomlin as a home dog. You can't bet against him. It's one of those, like we've said the last couple weeks, that I'm just gonna, if I lose it, not gonna be upset about it at all. That's one of the rules that I always follow. If they're a home dog, I'm betting the Steelers.
He's betting the Steelers. Well, right now, since we had our guest on, we'll go back to some college football this week. I know Sir Isaac wants to talk about some upsets, and then we will talk about other games in the future. Go ahead, Sir Isaac, as we move on to your upset picks of college football this weekend.
I'll rattle through a couple other ones real quick because they're not very popular games, but there was a few just weird games that stood out to me that I really liked this week. Normally this isn't the case, but for some weird reason, I think Georgia Tech, I think they win against Syracuse at home, but I think that they're going to have a little bit of a letdown. Syracuse has been covering a decent amount this year against better teams. That's one of the coaches that everyone's high on. But they're a 16.5-point dog. I kind of like Syracuse to cover that. Memphis is a home dog to USF. It's kind of a toss-up right now whether their starting quarterback plays or not.
USF, a top 20 team, and if Memphis' quarterback iffy.
Memphis is 6-1, and they
Got upset last
had a
week.
bad week, and I'm not a Memphis believer, but I'm also not a USF believer, and I think that at home, Memphis 4.5 point dog. I'll at least take them to cover the 4.5. SMU at Wake Forest is a weird line. SMU's a 3.5 point favorite. Wake Forest is another team that I'm not quite sure why they have a football team. or basketball team, if we're being completely honest.
Oh, now Tim Duncan wouldn't approve of that.
Well, there's
and the Demon Deacons. You know what kind of Baptist university would call their mascot Demon Deacons?
It's a weird.
It's an
weird
oxymoron,
name.
or is it real?
I'm not quite sure, but what is real is that SMU is going to beat them by at least a touchdown.
SMU, if you're an ugly dude, go to SMU or Ole Miss. It's about 6-1 girls ratio over boys. So even the ugly dudes find good-looking chicks at Ole Miss and SMU.
Another weird one that no one's going to pay attention to is Illinois is a 3.5-point dog at Washington. Illinois has lost 2 games against good teams. Don't think they're going to matter at the end of the season, but I do think that they are a pretty decent football team. And 3.5-point dog at Washington. I'm going to go with Illinois in that game. The upsets I've got is 2 of those games I just talked about. Illinois money line at Washington, Memphis money line at home versus USF, and then I love Ole Miss money line at OU. I hate it. I hate that I like it, but they win or they lose just enough games every year to not make the playoff. They could still make it this year, but I feel like that's a game that Ole Miss goes and beats OU. I just feel it. I think that they make OU look a little bad, and I think Norman ends up leaving the game not very happy. But I love that game. I couldn't believe that line. Ole Miss is.
It scares me. It's so off.
It is weird.
If it would have been Ole Miss minus 3.5, I would have thought that's the line.
Yeah.
So for it to be Ole Miss getting 5.5, I would tell you that's my number 1 play of the week.
The thing that gives me comfort with them is I think I would take Ole Miss with either quarterback. I mean, I know that other kid had a bad fourth quarter. You brought it up earlier. But even their now backup that was their starter that got hurt, I probably would take Ole Miss in that game no matter who plays at quarterback. I think that, again, it makes me want to throw up saying it out loud, but Lane Kiffin finds a way to score points. It's just one of the facts of college football.
Absolutely.
They're kind of like the Cowboys at the moment.
Nobody likes my school, you know. Nobody likes them.
Don't
I'm
claim
an
them.
alumni.
Don't claim them.
I'm an alumni.
Don't
Nobody
claim
likes
them.
Hey, although I'm a Razorback fan, you gotta pull for those Rebels.
How about last thing we got to talk about college. I think we should normalize firing coaches after wins. That was a that was a funny deal to me. Florida has a tough game at home, which, by the way, another win for me. I had Mississippi State covering.
I told them earlier Florida's already fired their coach. Oh, they beat Texas.
We thought he was fired for 4 weeks, and then they did this sick joke where they let him hang around. They win a tough game at home, and then surprise, surprise, they fire him after he wins.
Florida's the number 1 opening job in the country, and people will say it's Penn State. It's not Penn State. It's Florida.
But do you
think
if
they fire LSU's coach, I'm telling you, LSU's the number 1 school. The top coach will go to LSU.
That I agree with.
Florida, then it would be Penn State.
I agree with LSU, but I think you may have even brought it up a couple weeks ago. I am not a huge believer in Florida being that much better than like a lot of other programs. LSU is undeniable. I mean, they've got that whole state, like backing them. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I know it's always talked about anytime Florida goes through a coaching change, it's, the Florida job, it's going to be a huge name. I don't get super excited.
How would you rank them, Sir Isaac, the guru?
I think LSU is first, hands down. I would probably.
Well, that's not open yet.
Personally, well, yeah, they can't.
If they lose this week, though, to A&M,
their fans cannot stand. I've got a couple buddies who are diehard LSU fans. They cannot stand Brian Kelly. I feel like we all knew that was going to happen after his very first press conference where he came down there and started trying to identify with that Southern culture. And the only chance he had is to go win a national championship and just be incredible. But everyone knew early on, as soon as he slipped up, those fans were not having it. They want him out of there so bad. But I would say if that job opens up, it's LSU. I think Penn State is second. Everyone's going to call me stupid, but I'm serious. I would rather take the Arkansas job than the Florida job. I really would. I think we're so slept on as a program and as a state. I'm so serious. I know everyone's going to disagree, but for real.
That's a hazard lights, folks, because he's tripping. He's got to get off those lizards. The Arkansas Razorback coaching job above the Florida job. Can we all say it together, folks? Homer.
No, I know it's crazy, but I'm serious. I really do mean it. I've been saying it about basketball too, where we finally figured out that we can be relevant in a sport that we're not even a basketball school, and we make a couple hires, and now look, we're a national brand, and people know Arkansas, and I think that we can do the exact same thing for football. But the thing that I know it's a homer take, but people just got to realize, other than the people in the state that know it, it's such a unique position. We talked about it before. If you come turn Arkansas into a good program, your support is
you're a legend forever.
Yes, you're unlike any other position in the country. You're unlike 98% of other positions in the country. But Florida's now got Miami, Florida's got Florida State, and Arkansas's got Arkansas, and that's it. So I don't know. It is a homer take, but I do believe it.
Okay, folks. Well, I do not agree with that take whatsoever. Matter of fact, I would tell you that Arkansas will be a top 5 coaching job by the time this season is over with and the other coaches are fired. There will be the old domino effect, because when the one coach leaves one school, another one opens up. I'm here to tell you, it's just a coaching carousel. And like Phee says, the best job in America is a fired head football coaching job.
How about Indiana's coach, by the way?
Hey,
that's
Sig.
insane.
Smoke you another cig, baby.
I heard the other day Indiana leads the entire every college football program in football losses. They have the most losses of any
I told
college
you they were
football
terrible
program.
for years. Them in Kansas and Vanderbilt and Northwestern
Yes.
and Duke. They were terrible for years. Kansas State even.
For him to roll in there and do what he's doing is crazy. And he's not leaving, obviously. I mean, everyone knows that. He just got paid a ungodly amount of money. But still, it's just he deserves a ton of credit. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. That school.
That's a basketball school, folks.
Yes, it is. It's a basketball state. It's a basketball school. And that's what it gives me hope as an Arkansas fan, because if you can find someone to go into Indiana and make that football program relevant, why in the heck can't someone do that at Arkansas?
Well, they can.
But we're going to hire Bobby Petrino. We're going to win 6 games a year, and then we're all going to be in the same position in 3 years.
You've been winning 6. If you've been lucky to win 8, then you lose 4 and they'll fire the job. But you don't average 6 every year until you figure it out. And how you figure that out is with a combination of a young, energetic coach that players love to play for, that want to be around, that can get out with those old folks out there that control millions and millions of dollars. Get that NIL, find you one that will, just like Calipari did, and let's get after it. Let's find the right one. But I know who you like. They all say that Matt Rule has the inside track at Penn State because he played there, and he's a good friends with the athletic director, but he hadn't done enough yet at Nebraska to merit that job.
No, and they lost last week to Minnesota. They got whooped, actually, by Minnesota. I don't know about any other school, but I'll tell you what, Tulane's still winning football games, and I'm still high on that coach. But Rhett Lashley's going to make it hard if he finishes the year strong. We've said it before, I'd be happy with that over the old guys that are in the conversations right now. But I like Sumrall. I think he's a really good coach, and they just keep winning games down there, and they're going to keep winning games down there. But
I think Sir Isaac's right on that, hits the nail on the head there. If you win at Tulane, you can win anywhere. He has been consistent. Like Phee told him last week, it was going to be the week of underdogs. 3 of the top 10 got beat. I look for a little more of the same this week, Guru, as you've got some real scary matchups. Be interesting to see as we close up. Tell us your best bets and go ahead and give your college picks for the college football season before we move on, or this week before we move on to pros.
Well, the best bet, hands down, is Arizona State minus 7.5 versus Houston. Everyone knows that's the case. No, really, honestly, I think my best bet of the week is, I think I'm just going to go with Ole Miss plus 5.5 at OU.
That's why they call him the guru. He agrees with Phee.
But yeah, then I got a bunch of weird games this week, and I went through them. But Syracuse plus 16.5 at Georgia Tech, Memphis plus 4.5 at home versus USF, SMU minus 3.5 at Wake Forest, Illinois plus 3.5 at Washington, and then obviously Houston getting whooped in Arizona State. But that's the recap. Also, USC should have won last week. I did. Did you get to watch that game?
I did.
They
looked good.
They handed it to them.
Man, I tell you, I told you before the game started, I thought USC would cover no problem. It was going to be tough for them to beat Notre Dame outright. But USC impressed me, and they've impressed me every time I've watched them play this year offensively.
That quarterback just kept turning the ball over, though, and it wasn't even in times that it was
Carson Beck Jr.
I mean, my goodness, it was like, I'm not going to say USC looked like the better team hands down, but it should have been a shootout, and they were going back and forth, back and forth. It gets down to the fourth quarter, and this man, he forgot, and red and green are hard to mix up, and he forgot what color he was throwing the ball to.
Let's see, red and green. What would that, if mixed up? What color would that be, Guru?
I don't think that's color.
Guru doesn't know his primary color, so we will go with Super Sydney to work on that with Sir Isaac, the Guru. By next week, we'll ask him the same question. Sir Isaac,
red and green?
Anybody else got anything to say about Syracuse plus 16.5? You just picked that out of your hat. I do think that the lines of SMU minus 3.5 and Illinois going to Washington, those lines are a little off on me.
SMU's a real weird one.
I think that Houston, if Houston's quarterback is healthy, that'll be a good game. If he's not, Arizona State will win that game by 2 or 3 touchdowns because Arizona State's coming. You know, you picked Mississippi State the first week of the year, you're right again because you are Sir Isaac the Guru. And but since then, Arizona State's been playing pretty well. Mm-hmm. And so, all right, folks, you got it right here. You got his picks for Saturday. Before we go any further, we're going to talk about tonight's game because I'm sure it's already started or fixing to start. And he wants to go ahead, Sir Isaac, to tell you his play for tonight. If it's an in-game selection, he'll let you know the score. I don't know the score, but he can ask me my guess, and I'll go ahead and give it to you.
I played, I took or bought a point for the Chargers, took the Chargers minus 2.5, and parlayed it with the over 44.5 in the game. It's 0-0 right now in the first quarter, so the over's looking great. But I like the Chargers, although it is an intriguing game because
they're playing at SoFi?
They are playing at SoFi, and the Vikings have been weirdly scrappy with Carson Wentz, and it's not been because Carson Wentz is playing good. But Carson Wentz does have the ability that so many people can't figure out, which is to throw it in the direction of Justin Jefferson. And it works, shockingly. Work. But also the Chargers' run defense is bad. I actually took a fun prop bet for Jordan Mason to score 2 touchdowns because it was crazy.
Hope he doesn't come out after 2 plays with a hammy.
Yeah. Don't say that.
Well, we were just thinking about those prop bets from the NBA folks.
Oh, my
after
goodness.
9 minutes and 34 seconds.
He took his under.
I take the under. $259K on the under, and he played 9 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we hope Sir Isaac, the Guru, is picking under tonight, but he took over.
I did take over.
One thing about the Chargers, they can score a lot in a hurry.
Yes,
Minnesota, if they throw it to Justin Jefferson, it's tough to go wrong with that rascal. I'll go ahead because it's a Thursday night game, and if it's minus 3.5, I'd like to buy the point too. But since I'm not playing, not buying any points, I'll go ahead and take the Chargers to win by 4 or more in that, and I'll go ahead and take the over also. Although it's nothing in the first quarter, I do believe that's a 28-24 final.
It's kind of what I'm thinking. I agree.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're moving right on to the NFL slate. Roddy, you got Guru this week.
I called a couple games last week really well on just I think I had the script. But the Bucks playing the Lions couldn't keep up with the injuries. I do want to express my condolences to Mike Evans. That's just it stinks. The streak of 1,000-yard seasons is going to come to an end, and literally just comes back off a hamstring injury and then breaks his collarbone and gets a concussion. I mean, it's just a bad deal. But the Lions are just covering machines, like we keep saying.
I love them.
They've
done it every week this year for me, except one.
Yep, and it was against my Chiefs, who, by the way, even though the Raiders,
he throws that out.
The Raiders were a scary game for the Chiefs. I called that one well too.
You did. I got to the other side. I got to 0. The egg.
The Raiders suck.
They really look bad to me.
They
look bad to me. But hey, I give at least one bad take a week.
No, I'm not even saying that's a bad take because you're right. That game is. I mean, remember by the end of our conversation, you had me getting nervous because you're right. They do play those games close, but the Raiders are horrid. I mean, that's a tough watch as an understatement. That game was
horrid.
I mean, it
not
was
enough
just,
R's in horrid.
And then the Chiefs were even doing what people refer. Well, I can't say that word, but they do a bunch of cute stuff where they just do what they want. And Rashee Rice comes back, and they just sit. I mean, they had 5 plays planned to get him in the end zone, and 2 of them got called back from penalties, and he still scored 2 touchdowns. I mean, they literally were just doing it just for fun.
He looked good.
They knew that they could get away with it, and they were literally just doing whatever they wanted.
I mean, I was sitting there watching it, and the company that I was keeping was about as fine as it could possibly be, and I couldn't keep my eyes off Mr. Rice because every time he touched the ball, he looked like one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Who's your company?
I can't talk to you about bad company.
It sounds like it was good company.
It was, but I can make it bad. He's a bad influence on anybody and everybody, including the guru. So
that's true.
I can tell you this much, Goo. I felt sorry last week for anybody that would play the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh my goodness, yeah, and that one, they're just really solid, and they just kind of the Chargers just couldn't keep up with their offense. Will said it on the phone, I think, last week, but you just look up and the Colts are scoring 40 a game, and if you can't stop them and you can't keep up with them, then you're going to lose. But their defense isn't just world beaters, but their offenses. I mean, they're just scoring. Daniel Jones is playing great. They got the best running back in the league right now, and I say that Christian McCaffrey is still pretty insane.
If he's available, the best ability is availability.
It is crazy.
He's always the best if he's available, which he is about 35-40% of the time.
Jonathan Taylor's he's the definition of a workhorse. They just keep giving him the ball.
Reminds you of Derrick Henry.
Yes, he does. And in the fourth quarter, I mean, his yards per carry just goes up. Fourth quarter, he's getting 6 yards a carry. I mean, they're really good.
What do you think about the Dolphins? Dude, we said it early on. When the dude got there, he looked like a little nerd. He looked like Moneyball. He looked like the dadgum all math and science dude. He went to South Beach. He puts a perm in his hair. He gets him some contacts, grows him some facial hair, starts being out on South Beach, and he ain't won a football game since.
No, and
he's gone.
You know, I heard someone the other day compare it. You remember when Cam Newton would wear like the real crazy exotic outfits? Yeah. When you win games, those outfits look pretty cool. When you lose games, you look like an absolute idiot on camera in your post-game interview. That coach right now if they're winning, everyone's like, oh, look, he's so cool and whatever. When you lose, you look like a dummy.
Hey, when you win the college football championship, you can smoke cigars in the locker room, ask Joe Burrow. And when you take the Jets to the Super Bowl with an upset win against KC, Joe Namath can walk out the post-game interview in a mink coat.
Mm-hmm.
But if you lose, I think you better stick with some pretty conservative clothes.
Yeah, no, he's looking like an absolute idiot. He's got no control of that team right now. They don't want to be there. Tua last week threw like 3 picks and fumbled the ball 3 times. They were playing Quinn Ewers at the end of the game. I mean, it's a freaking disaster.
Quinn.
I mean, I don't dislike him, but they're a disgusting football team. They got hammered by the Browns.
I know.
The Browns scored like 31 points. I think that's more than they've scored cumulatively all year long.
Hey, if somebody would have said, Phee, the Browns are going to score 31. Miami's going to score 6. What do you think? I said, okay, I'll go ahead and take the Miami on that.
I mean, it's really
get
bad.
me Miami plus 25 against the Cleveland Browns.
I'll tell you another thing we have to talk about. Did you get the pleasure of watching the Broncos come back?
I did, and I have to tell you, it was one of the greatest comebacks in history.
That was insane. Insane. And also, just for the...
I feel sorry for Jackson Dart. Nobody talks about my main man, Mr. Dart. I talked about Dart before the season started. They laughed at me. I talked about Daniel Jones before the season started. They laughed at me. Now, how does Mr. Dart go and take the lead with 32 seconds left and sit over on the sideline and lose that game?
It was genuinely like, I blinked, and it just, somehow they were back in the game and winning. I mean, it was, his face on the sideline said it all. It was just like, what just happened? Their kicker missed 2 extra points. Poor kid. He got cut the next day. Shocker.
Welcome to the big leagues, Mr. Dart. You belong. You got that it quality. And I promise you this, it's going to happen to you a lot more when you're playing for those Giants. Just keep building. You'll get Malik Neighbors back next year. And with that running back and that quarterback and Malik Neighbors, the Giants are going to be contenders. But I don't know if anybody can outscore the Cowboys. I mean, just take the over every week, folks, with the Cowboys. It was crazy last week that they beat Washington so bad, and still the total was in the 70s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's insane. I do have to say these couple stats because I thought they were super cool. But after that Denver game, a lot of Demaryius Thomas stats were coming out, just crazy coincidences of that game, and it makes you it just is. It's really wild. So. Demaryius Thomas, it was the anniversary, I think, of him passing away. And he was 33 when he passed away. On Sunday, they dropped 33 points in the fourth quarter to win. And then he had a Ring of Fame introduction game that game. So 33 points in the fourth quarter. He was 33 when he passed. They had 2 8-point drives to finish the game. He was number 88. The defense recorded 33 solo tackles, wow. 33 years old, and started game-winning drive with 33 seconds left in the game, which was just a bunch of crazy stuff.
What do you think about things when you hear that, Guru? You think that's of God? Do you think that's karma? What do you think that is? Just a happenstance or circumstances or good luck? Or what do you think?
To be honest, I'm not sure because I've always not known how I felt about attributing religious stuff to sports because half of my brain is like,
it's a children's game.
Does God care if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl? I don't know.
I don't think so.
So some of that
stuff.
But
if he has stories that can glorify him through that, maybe.
That's the thing is when things like that happen, it's like, I don't know, coincidences happen, but some stuff like that's just crazy. I mean, that's just, it makes you think there's something, I don't care what you believe, and there's something else going on there that's wild. So when things like that happen, it really makes you think, I think God very well could have had a hand in that and made that happen for them. I mean, those are just crazy.
A lot of 33s, a lot of double 8s.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But it's super cool.
Yes, it is.
Super sad story, too. But crazy comeback. I can't even. I can't even. I watched it and I can't think back in my head about how they scored that many points that fast. It was just weird. So weird.
It was kind of like that Ole Miss game Saturday night when you're up by 9. Next thing you know, you're down by dadgum. What was it? 8. So it was
I think
17.
They lost by 8.
Yeah, it was 17 or 7. But anyway, it was a 17-point turnaround, really quick. This game was impressive to me. The Giants jumped out on them pretty hard.
Yeah, they did.
And then it took a long time back. And by the end of the third quarter, the Giants were pretty dominant.
Yeah.
And before it was over with, it was that's just one of the greatest games and greatest comebacks in NFL history. I witnessed, and so did Jackson Dart. Of course, you know that the Cowboys went over like they go over every week against the Washington Commanders. This week they played Denver. which is supposedly has a good defense. But you think that game's over again? Because I'm just going to keep you. I just tell them play over every week Dallas plays.
I think it's an over game only because I think Dallas is going to score. They just even if they're not scoring 40, they're going to score some points. They have too many. Denver is a good defense, but they're a good defense because they have one absolute lockdown corner. But Dallas right now has two receivers that if you don't have someone who can cover both of them, then you're in trouble. Because George Pickens will catch 5 or 6 balls for 100 yards and score, or CeeDee Lamb's now back, and he came back last week in a big way, scored a big touchdown. But no, I would keep betting every single over because their defense can't stop. It's like watching Arkansas.
Just play Lions over every week, and by the end of the season, you're going to come out ahead.
Yep, Lions to cover and Cowboys overs. That's
But he just keeps riding the train from the beginning to the end, and just looks up, and at the end of the year, it's 12-4. 12-4. You say thank you very much and move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Lions are going to cover. Well, this week's games, Guru, I don't see a lot of good ones. There's about 3 that I would say are worth watching. The rest of them, it's kind of like last week. What do you think?
We're a lot of teams on bye. Some of them are bad teams, which I appreciate not having to watch them play football. But no, it's some weird games this week. I think tonight's game is a decent game. The Packers and Steelers is just a classic uniform. I mean,
love the uniform in that game. That's great.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
That's great. Obviously, the Packers and Aaron Rodgers is a cool story.
And DK Metcalf, I've got him on my fantasy team, and I've got Pittsburgh's kicker. So it is to my benefit that Pittsburgh wins that game, and it seems to be a pick of yours.
I like the Steelers to win at home. The Eagles get a revenge game against the Giants after they let them embarrass them.
That's because Sir Isaac the Guru was up in Philadelphia. Every team in the state of Pennsylvania in every sport lost while he was there.
Yeah, they
because he told people before he went it was bad luck for him to go. Now he's back. Now he thinks the Eagles are just going to win easily by over a touchdown. That's an interdivisional matchup. 7.5. Guru, don't tell me you're going to take the Eagles again.
I don't like it, but I am because of the specific scenario. The fact that they got embarrassed by, I think you'll never convince me. I know those players don't watch. They don't care about they care about the sport in a different way than we do. They're not watching it as a consumer. They're there to play. They're there to win. But you can't tell me that some cocky rookie quarterback coming in at home and crazy foaming at the mouth running back rookie comes in at home and they embarrass you, and you cannot tell me that doesn't stick in those players' brains. There's just no way.
When your Super Bowl champs and your interdivisional rival beats you like that.
With those players, too.
When you play them again 2 weeks later,
it's got to be fresh on their brain.
It ought to be different.
It has to be.
It ought to be different.
That's why I'm going with the Eagles. But it makes me sick to my stomach because they've been a weird team for 3 years, even though they're just steady winning football games. The Lamar may come back this week against the Bears.
I tell you tonight, Phee took a big risk today. You know, everybody gambles in their life. Who's your bookie? What's his price? If you win, does he pay? And if he doesn't, why do you play? Who's your bookie and what's he do? Don't let your bookie make a fool of you. That was white chocolate back in the 80s, baby. But I'm telling you now, I had to make a decision. And the decision was to set Justin Herbert because he's playing on Thursday and hope Lamar Jackson plays on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I say Lamar plays because if the Ravens keep losing, it's over for them. And do you know who's going to win that division?
That's
who's going to win that division?
1-5.
Can still win it.
That's why he's got to play, because in some cases 1-5 you'd already be out.
Already gone.
But that division is still wide open, and so if it's a hamstring, Vegas thinks he's going to play because the Ravens are 6.5-point favorites.
And they're home.
Yes, but they were a home against the Texans.
They lost.
And the Texans were a
2.5
favorite.
Yeah.
So obviously Vegas thinks that Lamar's playing. I hope he plays because it's just more fun
I
football.
hope he plays too.
Yeah, I know he does, or I know you hope he does. But no, it's weird games. But still football, and I still love watching it. Fantasy is really.
Oh, we don't want to talk about your losses of fantasy before we bring up the rest of the slate of the NFL. We have got a couple of other games to look at, including a crazy game with your surprise quarterback to Phee, the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, my goodness, he looks good.
You know who they play this week?
Yeah, they.
You know who what the line is?
I didn't. I don't know what it is. I can look it up because I put on my.
The line surprised Phee. I can tell you.
They're playing the Browns.
They're playing the Browns, and the line is 3.5.
I think it's bigger than that. 7.5.
7.5. That's why it surprised me.
Big spread.
Well, Browns coming off a 31-6 slacking
Well,
of the Dolphins. Now they've got the Patriots, and the Patriots have been playing Patriot football. They either win or lose, but they ain't gonna get blown out very often. But now I think Cleveland might be on a roll with Joe Flacco. Weren't you laughing about Joe Flacco?
well, he's at the Bungles.
He's at Bungles. That's right. I mean, why did they trade him? So now who they got now?
Dylan Gabriel.
And how did they win by 31-6 last week?
Because they played the Dolphins.
Okay.
Quinshon Judkins had 3
is
rushing
Dylan Gabriel
touchdowns.
going to be the future quarterback of the
No,
Cleveland
he's
Browns?
okay. He's okay,
You know
but
where
I
he
don't
came
think
from,
so.
don't you?
Yeah,
Oregon.
yeah.
I don't know about that line.
I hate it.
Mine is 7.5.
No, that's a game that
that's
the Patriots win by 6.
Oh, I think that's. I mean, you hate. Who would tell our viewers to play the Browns?
No one, not me.
You're talking about losing credibility. Just tell them the rapture's happening in September. Thank you so much. That's what happened to all those other prophecy teachers. And now you telling people to bet the dadgum Browns?
This is the way I'm approaching that. There's 3 games that I'm choosing to.
Okay,
we
3 games.
We haven't done this yet.
Okay.
This year.
Here we go.
I am doing a 3-team money line parlay because there's 3 games that have a horrible line, but I'm pretty confident I know the winner. The Eagles is one, even though I just listed it as a game I like. 7.5 is gross. I hate it. They win games by a field goal, and then they move on to the next week. And so I got Philly money line. I've got the Bills money line versus the Panthers. The Panthers are frisky at home. It's weird, but they are. Their defense is pretty solid, but the Bills are 7.5-point favorites there, which is too big. The Bills' defense has looked bad. They're hurt. I think the Bills win, but I ain't betting 7.5.
So far, Guru, your Eagles and your Bills to win outright is a lot, but
And
I'm sure you're giving up 160 and 170. You might be betting $100 to win 80. I don't know.
Well, then we got the Patriots money line because again we just talked about it. Nasty spread, but the Patriots are the better football team. They could win that game by 1, 2, 3. Who cares? I think the Patriots win, but I've got the Patriots, the Eagles, and the Bills in a money line parlay instead of betting those nasty spreads because I can't do it. And I'll go ahead and get some odds for you real quick.
Yeah, I want the odds of that. Normally, a 3-game parlay would pay you back 5-1 if it's even money. But he's picking all favorites, and some of them by more than a touchdown. So I'm sure he's having to give up minus 140, minus 150. So that 3-team parlay at $100 might pay him back.
It's only plus 100.
Okay.
So you're doubling money.
You're doubling money to win 3 games.
Yes, but like I said, normally I would not do that. I don't like that. But in these 3 specific games, I feel very confident about it. I just despise the lines.
Risk not worth the reward for Phee, but I do believe that you'll win.
Yeah, I like it. But I've got my Steelers pick.
Yes, you like the Steelers, don't you? At home at underdogs, just
at
because
home,
them.
yes, that's it. I blindly bet it. It doesn't matter who they play. They could be playing the Chiefs and be a home underdog. I'm betting them. Mike Tomlin he doesn't lose a lot as a home underdog. I love the Bucks at the Saints minus 3.5.
You gonna buy the hook, or you gonna let them play?
No, I'm going with 3.5.
Well, Detroit put on the Baker's Bucks last week because he was they were hurt, and he still looked good when they were during that game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Buccaneers are a playoff football team.
Yeah, they're
Now, what about
solid.
Chris Godwin? Is he coming back this week because of Mike Evans' injury, or are they going to give him another week?
I would think they give him another week because the Igbuka hamstring didn't last. I mean, he played last week. He also, one of the most deceiving stat lines, if you watch that football game, his stats were not very impressive. He had 2 touchdown throws that were dropping into his hands, perfect throws, and all credit to, my goodness, help me.
Defensive back.
All credit to the Lions defensive backs because there was 2 just the easiest touchdowns he'll score in his career that they got a fingernail on in a jumping, diving effort and kept him from catching 2 touchdowns.
I saw one deflection, and it was a fingernail. I didn't see the other one.
They were the same thing, but I think with him being healthy, I wouldn't think Chris Godwin comes back. They got that Tez Johnson, the rookie that's kind of stepped up and played well. Baker missed a lot of throws in Detroit. I think people were joking around saying they put too much air in the ball. He was throwing it over everyone's head, but he ain't going to do that 2 weeks.
Gate too.
He ain't going to do that 2 weeks in a row. The Saints are not very good and injured. Yeah, I love them -3.5. Their defense is also like kind of underrated, I think. They've been giving up a lot of points, but they've also been playing some good teams. Their defensive line's super solid.
If they can get healthy by the end of the year, they're going to make a run.
Absolutely. I wouldn't want to play them.
No.
You want to play Baker Mayfield? And yeah, no.
No, I think Mike Evans is a big loss for them, though. But you've got 2 wide receivers that are more than capable.
Yep.
There, and your running backs are coming back, and you've got 2
say.
horses there.
Yeah.
So, all right, Guru, before we move on to fantasy football, Guru, give your best picks for the professional week this week.
I think I'm going to go with the Bucks -3.5 at the Saints. And I agree with the president from earlier. I love Kansas City -11.5 at home versus Washington. Washington doesn't know who's playing quarterback. They're hurt, like they're in San Francisco territory of injuries. They're banged up all over the place. Even if Jaden Daniels plays, he ain't going to be running all over the place. He's hurt. And Kansas City is just, at the moment, they're lighting people on fire and scoring points. They're literally picking who they're throwing touchdowns to. I mean, we're being goofy and deciding, no, I want you to get to this game. I want you to get to this game. I mean, they're operating on a different level right now.
They're proving that they can play without Kelsey.
Yeah, they are, and it makes Kelsey better right now because he's getting to play like he should get to play at his age, which is use his brain to find the open spots and zones like he does, and then he'll catch 4 or 5 balls a game instead of catching 8 or 9, and they're all valuable targets instead of them trying to hammer the ball at him. But their offense is scary right now. Someone was joking the other day saying they're going to put a futures parlay and they're going to name it the Things Just Don't Change parlay, and they're going to bet on the Dodgers to win the World Series next year.
That's a winner.
The Chiefs to win the Super Bowl this year.
I picked the Dodgers before this year.
Scotty Scheffler to win the Masters. And
put on. I just never had young face.
And it was like the Florida Panthers to win the NHL playoffs. But it was just a funny, like, what I'm saying is, don't be surprised if the Chiefs mess around and win another Super Bowl. Their offense has not been this good in 3 years, and they've still been competing. So they're scary. If they can score that many points, that's a scary thing for the rest of the league.
Took my children up to watch Razorbacks play Texas Tech, and after the game was over with, I said, "What did you guys just witness?" They said, "We don't know, Daddy." I said, "Texas Tech never punted. They scored on every single offensive possession in the game, and that was with Patrick Mahomes as the quarterback. From that day forward, I've been a Patrick Mahomes fan and a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I will stay with that. I do think they're coming back to the pack. As Guru is already saying that he thinks they are serious Super Bowl contenders, and they're not even leading their division, folks. That's what we talked about before the season. I do believe KC wins the division, but I think it comes down to about the last 2 weeks. And I think that's good for KC. They needed to have a little wake-up call.
I think so, too. It's so crazy when I've actually not experienced I was alive for the Patriots runs, but I wasn't old enough to really appreciate it. Yeah, I still don't appreciate it because I didn't like them. But anyway, You can't deny the greatness, and it's just so rare in sports that you see something like that. But every year you want to think, oh, the Chiefs are going to fall off this year, or they can't do it this year. I say that Golden State had that run in the NBA that was up there too.
Well,
but
San Antonio won 5 in 9 years.
well, that's what I'm saying in my lifetime. Like it's been it's just
what are you, 30?
28.
28. Boy, that boy's young.
But the Chiefs,
I'll be 81 next birthday.
They may fall apart. They may not make it, but man, it's just crazy. I mean, every year they're back in it. Patrick Mahomes is still young. As long as they make the right calls as an organization and don't hang on to the old players too long, and they just keep growing and improving, I mean, they're just going to keep doing this. They're going to keep being back in contention every year.
Well, they keep taking quality wide receivers late in the first round, and they're actually getting some picks now. They're stacking up because they've got that between Worthy and Rice as just two of many. One of these days they're gonna pick a running back that can play, and then it'll be over for them. But you've got all your picks in go for your professional. I hope you guys have got it written down. We will now move on to Guru's favorite talking about subjects. He just keeps losing in the weirdest ways, folks.
Oh, my God.
Fantasy football back in the saddle, Guru. Tell me, let's see, you've lost 1 week on a hook and ladder. Mm-hmm. You lost another week by a guy catching the ball and then fumbling. And
70-yard touchdown.
70-yard touchdown. And now we've had a real strange occurrence in the last 2 weeks for you. Mm-hmm. Somebody you had Nico Collins, and you had the lead. Mm-hmm. And they had only the defense left.
Texans defense.
They get the defense touchdown late. You're losing by like 2, and Nico's hurt and not coming back in the game.
I didn't even watch that matchup close. I knew I had the lead. I knew I had Nico Collins left, and didn't that. And the Texans in Seahawks started. It was a 9 p.m. kickoff, and so I fell asleep on the couch. Wasn't even like locked into the game. It was a very ugly game at the part that I was awake for. I wake up, did my typical Sunday or Monday night routine, scrolled through my fantasy matchups real quick, expecting I would have gone 3-0 last week, and felt really good about it.
3-0, playing in 3 different leagues, and he's cut down.
Fun fact, by the way, undefeated in 1 league and top point scorer, and that's a money league, so that's looking good right now. I'll find a way to lose, don't worry. But anyways,
wearing a dress to play golf.
That's the one I lost last year, yeah. But yeah, so
hello, darling.
No, that's what everyone's gonna be saying.
Hello, darling.
I'm gonna take their money too.
It's so great to have you back where you belong. He gonna be in a red dress walking down the stairwell, and they're gonna be singing. Louis Armstrong's gonna be singing. Well, hello, Isaac. Well, hello, Isaac. I don't think I'm gonna see him. We're gonna take the video camera out there. We're gonna just watch him play golf in his dress.
Well,
Fee's, by the way, is leading the league. That he's 1-5.
Also,
Fee's 4-2, and got his best 2 players hurt.
It's really bad, and we already talked about the whole start and sitting players thing last week. I just keep finding ways to lose. It's incredible, really. And also, I don't want to discredit. I think I actually felt kind of bad because I've been griping about my season, which, by the way, I still will gripe about my season because I've never had a better performing team that I just keep losing. I mean, it's incredible that I'm just groundbreaking ways to lose. But Will, though, is the top point scorer in our league overall. And Will is 2-5.
I know, like
or
you
no,
are.
3-4.
Aren't
He's
you
3-4.
2-5?
I'm 2-5. Will is
Will's
3-4.
What am I?
You haven't scored as many points as Will.
Who's leading?
But you're 5-2.
Oh,
and
right.
when I look at your team, who I have basically the exact.
You play Phee, he just plans to win by 1. That's all you have to do. You want the W? Win the game. You want to talk about your losses? Put Isaac on the dadgum tube.
It's incredible.
But he did go 2-1 last week.
I did, and I should have been 3-0. Oh, we forgot about the loss against Drew, where Trevor Lawrence was handing the ball off to my running back on the goal line and tripped and fell.
Yeah. And then got up and then ran
scored.
backwards 40 yards and then scored.
We forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm telling you, it's incredible. I mean, it's just it's
it goes
comical.
in streaks, folks. Momentum is real.
I don't like this streak that I'm on right now.
Again.
Well, gambling, I love it. Fantasy is, I mean, I wouldn't.
Psychological warfare, folks. He likes his gambling because he went that gun 13-4 last week. He hates his fantasy football because he just keeps getting robbed.
And not to give myself more credit than I deserve, but if I have been doing like plays of the week every week in fantasy, I'm all over the top performers of the week. I mean, I have a finger on who's playing well. I'm rarely leaving more points on my bench. I mean, I'm making the right start-sit decisions. I'm picking up people off the waiver wire for 1 week starts and making it happen. I mean, as far as the knowledge of fantasy football, I mean, I'm all over it right now. But my goodness, I can't win. It's crazy.
I lose Malik Monk for the year. I lose Lamar Jackson for 2 weeks.
Malik Monk, he's a heck of a...
I tell you, I can do it all day long. I was talking about today walking on the ceiling. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, I don't know. Malik Neighbors, you know, you got to love your neighbor, folks. And not to Monk, but Neighbors. Malik Neighbors and Lamar Jackson. Now Lamar's back, I hope. What score of the football game?
14-3 Chargers.
14-3 Chargers. I've got the over and I've got the Chargers. Sir Isaac the Guru has the over and he's got the Chargers. We'll see how that holds up. Last week they scored way too many points on Thursday night than I thought they would. I had the under. They ended up like going over in the third quarter or something.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them had 30 plus. So tell me how that happens. But anyway, I had the Steelers, no problem either. So this week maybe we'll go 2-0 with 2-0 the week before and 2-0 the week before that on Thursday night. So maybe we'll get it right this time, but if we don't, that'll be all right. Fantasy football starters, folks, this week. Who do you have to put in your lineup, Guru, this week if you're playing in 3 leagues and winning your money league and lost so bad last year you got to wear a dress and play golf?
Let me improvise real quick because I had a busy day and I didn't put it in my notes, but I will whip it up real fast. I'm going to say for your quarterback, Bo Nix, solely because he's playing the Cowboys.
Good pick.
He can run and throw. He's going to score a few touchdowns. He'll casually
You going to start him? Because you know who you got coming back.
I know.
Tell the audience.
Josh Allen.
He's got Josh Allen and Bo Nix.
Yes.
He's going to choose between the two of them. Everybody in the history of the world knows Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Bo Nix. But Bo Nix is playing against the Cowboys.
And
defense.
so is another start of the week I'm going to give you, which is Cortland Sutton. Very good wide receiver for the Broncos.
Memphis? Didn't he play at the University of Memphis?
Actually, don't know.
I believe he did.
Well, he's playing the Cowboys too, so go ahead. Basically, anyone who plays the Cowboys, start of the week. But also, let's see, running backs. Give me. This will be kind of a crazy one, but I'm going to actually
Mr. Dobbins against the Cowboys.
I'm going to go with Chase Brown, who has done nothing this year because the Bengals have been horrible. But they're playing the Jets, who are just.
Well, that's a bad game to watch.
Yes, it is. But
that would remind you of the Carolina Panthers and the Saints that you talk about.
Yeah, nasty.
That's a bad game to watch.
Nasty. Let's see. I'm gonna get one more running back.
Mr. Dobbins.
No.
Denver. Playing the Cowboys.
Even though
I think Derrick Henry will have a good week.
You think so?
I don't think he's going to fumble that many more times this year. I think he's got a real chip on his shoulder because he doesn't fumble a lot. And I think he's fumbled more this year than he did all last year in the first 4 games.
I'm going to cheat, and this isn't a true start of the week because everyone's going to start him anyway. But Bijan Robinson is playing against the worst run defense in the league in Miami. Algier is questionable to play, so he's going to get extra workload than he already gets, and he's going to catch 6 balls, and he's going to score 2 touchdowns and rush for 117 yards, and he's going to score 30 fantasy points.
I say every week that the Falcons are better than people give them credit for. Sir Isaac the Guru, thanks to Bijan Mustard, is the best running back in the league, and he probably will have a phenomenal weekend this week, dude.
Last start of the week I'll give is a tight end, and I actually talked to a friend that was asking for advice earlier today about this, but Tucker Kraft for the Packers, they're playing against the Steelers at home. I would guess, if I was just trying to imagine how that game plays out in my head, I would think neither team blows out the other. The Packers are going to be throwing the ball a lot. Josh Jacobs is questionable again, so I doubt they're going to give him 20 carries. Also, I don't know if anyone knows his name, but there is a guy named T.J. Watt that plays for the Steelers.
I've got the Pittsburgh defense, by the way, that sucks this year, and I still got them.
They do, but T.J. Watt is going to be, at a bare minimum, making Jordan Love question whether he wants to stand in the pocket longer or not, and I would assume he dumps the ball off to the tight end a lot. Tucker Kraft's really good. He's also really good after the catch. Wouldn't surprise me if he's got 7 or 8 catches for 60, 70 yards and a touchdown.
That makes perfect sense, Goo.
Yep.
Makes perfect sense to me. And T.J. Watt is a first ballot Hall of Famer and leads a defense that has a stud on every single level, from the line to the backers to the defensive backs.
And somehow
they're giving 30 up to the Jets.
It's pretty.
Last week, folks, let me tell you something. Last week, Phee lost -4. -4 on his defense, the Steelers. My score at the end of the week of the game was -4 for the defense.
And you probably won your matchup.
I still won.
Yeah.
I still won.
Sure
I
you
still
did.
had 40 points, 140 points. What I think the person,
Same.
140 points. And by the way, Gabe, what did you score last week? 137.
Yeah.
137.
A lot.
So again, he loses at 137. Phee wins at 140. There wasn't but one team that had more points than Phee last week, and that was 141. So.
And they played against
you. Again, you can't make this stuff up, folks. You just can't make it up. Take the Ferguson boy at tight end for the Cowboys also. And I expect that Josh Allen will have a big week. So I think he'll do well. I don't know how Justin Herbert or my boy Ladd McConkey is doing right now. How they doing?
Justin Herbert has a passing touchdown to their tight end, but it looked like I think Ladd McConkey had a couple catches.
He needs to have a couple of touchdowns. If I'm going to keep playing him, I got too many good wide receivers on my bench. So I've just got too good a team, folks. I don't know what to do with them. I've had everybody hurt for so long and just still keep winning. Guru doesn't understand it. There again, he's not wearing a dress playing golf. See what happens there? Do you have anything else, Guru, as far as any real sleepers or any great fantasy football picks this week?
Nope. I'm just trying to stay alive. I'm trying to make the playoffs.
He might have the best team in the league he's playing with me, but he won't make the playoffs. That's what you call a real bad Malik Neighbors kind of season.
It's bad.
Really bad. Really bad. Anything else to go before we say goodbye?
All I got.
Folks, join the Feast Me Network tonight with Night with Phee at 9 p.m. Tomorrow we'll have the Feast Me Show at 9 a.m. with Manly Mark. Tune in next week for Fee's Sports Ball. Tell all your friends Sir Isaac Guru is going freaky deaky, doing good with 13-4 last week. He's going to crush it again this week, folks. Just stay off the dadgum NBA players props bets unless you want to go to jail. That's what I have to say here. Folks, we appreciate you. God bless you. Enjoy yourself. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell anybody and everybody. Watch the Feast Me Network. Subscribe, like, give Sir Isaac Guru a big old heart. Sir Isaac, till next week, take care.